What if I told you the greatest miracle began in the hands of a starving woman? The land was silent, rain had stopped, fields were dust, every village was a graveyard waiting to be filled. In Zarephath, one woman gathered sticks, not for comfort, not for warmth, but for her final fire. 2 sticks, 1 fire, one last meal for herself and her son. And then, the slow, inevitable embrace of death. She wasn't dramatic, she wasn't heroic, she was tired, hungry, carrying the crushing weight of a child she could not save. And then, he came, a prophet, Elijah, dust on his feet, fire in his eyes, and a voice steady with heaven's authority. He asked for water, and even in her scarcity, she turned to give. But then, he asked for more. Bring me a piece of bread. Her heart sank. Bread? From where? Her jar held only a fistful of flour, her jug just a thin shadow of oil. Enough for 1 meal, no more. And yet this prophet asked for it first, as if God himself had stepped into her last moments and demanded what she could not afford to give. This was the breaking point, the collision of despair and obedience, the moment when faith was not a sermon, but a choice. She could have refused. She could have guarded her crumbs. She could have clutched her last hope tight in her own hands. But instead, she moved. She stretched her shaking fingers into the jar. She poured the final drops of oil. She baked the bread that should have been her last. And when she placed it before the prophet, heaven bent low. The flour did not run out. The oil did not dry up. Day after day, meal after meal, a miracle multiplied in the shadows of her obedience. She thought she was feeding a prophet, but in truth, God was feeding her. And maybe this is the mystery hidden in the jar. God doesn't need your plenty. He only asks for your surrender. He doesn't require abundance. He asks for trust. So I ask you, what remains in your hands? What little is left in your jar? Will you guard it in fear or release it in faith? The widow believed she was preparing for her last meal, but she was preparing for her first miracle. And maybe, so are you.